was tempted to say good morning, sorry, good afternoon. Sorry about that technical difficulty that we had, and that resulted in our getting started this very late. Council, can you take us through what the day would look like and witnesses that will be coming, so we have an idea of what the hearing summary would be? Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon to you all. We apologize for the technical difficulties we had this morning. For the rest of the day, we expect to have 2 witnesses. The witness of yesterday, Mr. Demba, will continue his testimony. We expect that it would last about an hour and a half or 2 at most. Sagar, could you indicate whether that is to be expected?
Yes, perhaps about that, 2 hours at most.
Yes. And thereafter, we would have another witness who would testify to some discrete issues. We expect that that witness would also complete his testimony today. So we'd have a new witness tomorrow.
Splendid. Thank you so much for that. Before we start our proceedings, I ask our religious leaders to offer prayers. Imam C, you have the floor.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين وإن تستفتحوا فقد جاءكم الفتح نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل والله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر وسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Shukran, Imam C. Bishop Adiko, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Lord God of power, of grace, of compassion, of love and forgiveness, and of judgment, we continue to ask for your Holy Spirit's power to guide and direct the sittings of the Trrc. Help each and every one of us and the whole Gambian nation at large as we go through the sittings to bring out the facts and help us to be able to discern truth from falsehood. And at the end of the day, we pray that you will make us to become people that love one another, that are concerned for the total well-being of all who live in this land. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Bishop Odiko. Council, shall we get started with the witness? You have the floor, Council.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Good afternoon, Commissioners, and good afternoon to members of the public. We are ready to proceed with the witness. Hello, Mr. Witness, can you hear me?
Yes, Council, I can hear you.
Okay, very well. I can hear you also loud and clear. Thank you very much for coming back, and we must apologize sincerely for making you wait the entire morning. We apologize for making you wait the entire morning because of the technical difficulties we've been experiencing. I hope you had a good rest and you're ready to proceed with your testimony.
No problem, Council. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. May I just give you a brief recap of some of the, sorry, Mr. Chairman, but there's the echo. I'm experiencing the echoes. Hello, Mr. Witness. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's much better without the headphones. Yeah, I'd just like to give you a brief recap of what we did yesterday. During the first session, you gave testimony, and I also gave you a recap of everything that you had said during your first session, during the second session. And this is the third session we're having today, today's hearings. And before we go on to that, may I just give you a recap, perhaps, of the salient points that you had mentioned in your testimony during the last session we had yesterday. During the last session, you continued to explain to the Commission about some of the challenges and difficulties that you had as a National Assembly members, including, some of the threats you faced, intimidation at the hands of the NIA, at the hands of the President and other members of the executive. You also mentioned certain political scandals and how the executive basically dealt with that, and how MPs were threatened by some of the utterances that were made. I believe you also started on the issue of the panel after you had been arrested and detained at the Mile 2 prisons. You explained the fact that you actually saw a lot of people, several people who had been detained at Mile 2 prisons. And prior to that as well, you had mentioned that you saw certain people who had been arrested and paraded on the TV. You mentioned several people whom I will not bother to go into now, but perhaps later we'll go back to them. You had mentioned the fact that they had actually been tortured, and you had seen visible marks on their bodies. You also mentioned the fact that you were detained at Mile 2 prisons, and when you went into the maximum security wing, number 5, you saw several people there as well, who you also mentioned were tortured, and you explained their condition. I hope that this is an accurate reflection of some of the things that you said yesterday.
Exactly.
Okay. I just want to, before we start, I just want to mention the fact that you're still bound by the affirmation that you made yesterday. Is that understood?
Yeah, Counsel.
Okay. You started giving us testimony about the panel. After you left Mile 2 prisons, you were taken to the NIA officer by those you refer to as the black boys. And when you got to the NIA premises, you mentioned that you were taken to the conference room, and there you faced a panel of investigators who actually interrogated you. So for the purposes of this hearing, can we just start from that point and then continue with your testimony from there?
Okay.
Yeah, so just simply explain to us how the room was set up, who was sitting where, and who the members of the panel were. Just give us the names and the descriptions of those people, their ranks or positions. That would be sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counsel. As I said, when I arrived at the panel, they were in a round form table, round conference table, organized in a round form table. So I was put in the middle of them, in the midst of them, and they were surrounding me. Yeah, in the interim, they will throw question, then you turn and answer, then you throw another question, you face the individual and give answer. And the panel, some of the panelists, I can recognize them, were for the body. He worked with the NIA. Baba Saho also worked with the NIA. Sergeant Lamin Cham worked with the Gambia Police Force. Boto Keita also worked with the Gambia Police Force. Abdullah Kujabi, he worked with the NIA Deputy Director. You have also Alaji Martin was also seated. You have Lanton Bontamba. You have Usman Sonko, former Minister of Interior. Yes, so far these are the ones, and Momodu Haidara also was part of them. Yes, these were the one I can recognize, if I may, I don't forget.
All right, thank you very much. You mentioned that when you went in, there was a round table. And around this round table, you mentioned several names that were seated on it, just like you did. Did you mention that there was a long bench where certain people were also seated? Can you just clarify that issue for us? You mentioned that there was a long bench facing the conference table, and there were certain people who were sitting on that long bench. Then you mentioned the round table and certain people who were sitting around the round table. And please tell us what your position was, where your position was inside the room. Where were you seated?
I was in the middle of the room, surrounded by the investigators. Then beside them, at the back of the investigators, we have a long bench. That long bench was seated by the then Deputy CDS Lanton Bontamba, Usman Sonko, Musa Jammeh, and Alaji Martin.
Can you tell us if who the people on the long bench were? Can you describe who they were, what positions they held?
Alaji Martin was with the State Guard. Musa Jammeh was the close protection officer at the President Office. Lanton Bontamba was the Deputy CDS. And Usman Sonko was the Minister of Interior then.
And the people who were sitting round the table, were they different from those who were sitting on the long bench? Just for the sake of clarity.
Yeah, to me, I think it was not different because they also post questions. They throw you questions. Sometimes they make comments. Yes.
So the people who were sitting on the long bench were posing questions to you, as well as those who were around the table.
Exactly.
Okay. The ones on the long bench, you mentioned that, these were people who actually, had, senior positions in government compared to those who were on the panel. Is that correct? They were the heads of their department. Sorry, Mr. Witness, I didn't hear you.
Right, that's right.
Okay. Were they acting in a supervisory position over those who were on the panel, in your opinion?
Yes, that was my opinion. They were acting on a supervising position.
Okay. And you were sitting in the middle between the round table and the long bench?
Yes.
Were there any other people in the room apart from those sitting on the long bench and around the table?
Yes, we have some security escort. The guys who escorted us were sitting there with their arms.
And were they part of the black boys, or were they part of other security units?
No, they were part of the black boys.
Okay. Who did you mention was the head of the panel at the time?
I will assume here Fodebari was the head because I saw the file on his desk where he was sitting.
Can you repeat the name of the head?
Fodebari.
Okay. And you mentioned that he was an ex-NIA operative who had been dismissed but later brought in to head the interrogation. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. Please tell us what happened when you sat down.
When I sat down, Fodebari asked me, do you know your reason of being here?
Okay.
I said, no. He said to me, it is about the aborted coup. What do you know about it? And what role have you played? This is why you are brought here. I said to him, I have no knowledge about this aborted coup. Besides that, I was all over at the provinces attending workshops. So definitely, I don't know anything about this coup plot. Then he said to me again, we have been informed you were given money and transport to go and look for marabouts for these coup plotters. I said to him, who is that individual? He said that was Ablaye Njai and Ali Job. I said, no, that is not true. They said Ali Job said he did give me vehicle and money to go and look for a marabout for them so that the coup can succeed. I said that is never a true. Ali Job once borrowed me a vehicle. The purpose of that was for me to go and attend the Tabaski prayer in my constituency, because then I have a small car and the delegation I was going with were huge. That was the reason I borrowed him a double pickup cabin. Besides that, definitely, he never gave me anything. Again, Fodebari told me that Ablaye Njai did told them that there sometimes in February, he did call me. I said to him, I am in the provinces coming back in the combos. Right now, I am in Panchang village, rushing towards the ferry. But if I come, I will tell you we are up to something. I said to him, no, that's not true. My discussion with Ablaye Njai was this. He did come to my home. Door was locked. Then he called. He gave me a call and asked me, where are you? I told him my stepdad passed away. I went to attend the funeral. But right now I am on my way coming. I am at Panchang area. And I am in a haste to rush before the last ferry will close behind. I said that was my discussion with Ablaye Njai. Apart from that, we don't say anything else. Yes.
Can you tell us what, sorry, Mr. Witness, can you tell us what your relationship was with Ablaye Njai and Ablaye Job before we move further?
These two were both my best friend, close friend also. Ablaye Njai, I can say we were from the same village. We grew up together, do everything together. So definitely our relationship was very cordial, and we were just like brothers, the same mother and father. Ali Job likewise. He was also a very close friend to me. And our relationship definitely was very cordial. We do everything, sometimes everything together. So that was our relationship.
However, you were saying that the accusations leveled against you and the interactions you were accused of having between Ali Job and yourself, as well as, Ali Job, as well as Ablaye Njai, between yourselves and them, at this point in time, was actually not accurate.
Was very accurate, very, very accurate. There was no problem.
What I meant to say was that the accusations at the NIA at the time about the interactions that you had with them and the monies that exchange hands and you going to Amarabu and all of that, were these accusations true at the time?
No, that was totally false, Council. That was totally false, definitely.
Please tell us what happened after that when you responded to the allegations and denied them.
Then that was when Mamadou Haidara, the Director of External Affairs, Internal Operations, told me that you are the greatest liar I can ever come across. I told him, why do you say so? He said, all what you said here is not true. And if you don't talk, time will come. You will want to talk to us. By then, our doors are closed.
And this Mamadou Haidara, Director of External Affairs or Internal Affairs, did you say he was External Affairs or Internal Affairs?
No, he was the Director of Operations at the
Director
NIA.
of Operations. Of which institution?
By the NIA.
Okay. And what did you understand him to mean by that statement that you were unwilling to talk at that point, but there was a time when you would want to talk and you would not be in a position to talk to them?
Definitely, Council Biden. I don't know what he meant by that statement. So I was worried. I don't know what that means.
Kindly tell us what happened after that.
After that conversation, then Baba Saho instructed the arresting team, that is the Black Boys, to return me back to mile 2. That was how I was taken back to mile 2 again.
Okay, Mr. Witness, can we just go back to the interrogation? Whilst you were there, apart from speaking to Fode Barry, as well as Baba Saho and Mamadou Haidara, did anything happen between yourself and any other member of the panel, apart from those three? Did anything happen to you? Yeah,
yes, something happened. Tell us? Anyway, when I denied the allegation against Abla Njai, that was the time they brought Abla Njai outside. Abla Njai was in a cell inside the conference room, a small room. He was locked there. They brought him out with a handcuff. His face was swollen. His mouth was bleeding. They told him, what you said to us, say it again. That was how Abla Njai confirmed, yes, what he said is true. I said, no, that was never true. Then we were trying to push and pull there. That was how they returned him back to the cell.
Yes, Mr. Witness, you said when they brought Abla Njai out, he was bleeding. Do you know how he sustained the injuries that he sustained?
He was seriously tortured because Abla Njai was arrested a day before my arrest. So he slept at the NIA. I think during that day, they dealt with him mercilessly because the way I saw him, definitely that means he was dealt with. Because the mouth was bleeding, the face was swollen, he was under handcuffed, his shirt all were torn off. This is how I saw him.
And you said he actually confirmed the accusations against you and accused you of being part of the coup plot. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what he said.
You have denied these allegations, Mr. Witness. Can you tell us why, in your opinion, Abla Njai would say these things against you if it wasn't true?
No, Abla Njai have to say that, because if he don't say that, he might be tortured to death. Because they beat him very seriously. This is what he told me. He said, boy, you know, if I don't say that, they would have killed me. Because what I have encountered last night was very, very terrible. This is what he told me.
And when did he say these things to you?
When we were taken back together to mile 2.
He was detained with you at the maximum security wing number 5, is that correct?
Exactly.
And you're also saying that the only reason why he made these untrue allegations against you was because he was tortured and forced to say so.
Definitely. He was under duress.
You mentioned different people who sat on the long bench supervising the panel members. You mentioned Alaji Martin, Usman Sonko, amongst others. Did anything happen between yourself and any member of that long bench?
Yes, when I was trying to argue with Mamadou Haidara about, yes, you are the great lies, I say, why you say so? Then I saw Alaji Martin get up. I thought he was going out towards the door. He was moving towards the door. All of a sudden, he came at my back. That's the time he gave me a very nasty slap. I fell down with my handcuff. Then Fodebari told him, no, Alaji, don't spoil our investigation. Leave him. Alaji Martin's response was, then let him talk, otherwise I will kill him.
You're saying that Alaji Martin got up from his chair and moved towards the door, and you thought he was about to go out when he came from behind. You did not see him coming and gave you a slap that knocked you off your chair.
Yeah, definitely. That's what happened.
And you said at that point, Fodebare interrupted him and asked him to stop and said he was actually spoiling your investigations. And Alaji Martin responded to say that you should talk, otherwise he would kill you. He made a threat to kill you, is that correct?
Exactly, that's what he said. And then Usman Sonko also altered a word. Usman Sonko did say, look, Honorable, if you have leaked this coup, you would have been made minister, appointed as a minister. I said, but then I never know about this coup. How can I leak it? So this is what Usman Sonko said.
And you had confirmed earlier on that Alaji Martin was the leader of the Black Boys at that time. Is that correct?
Yes.
And can you please tell us what had happened between yourself and the Black Boys in the vehicle prior to you coming to the NIA?
Yes, immediately when I boarded the vehicle at the prison reception, under my handcuffs, then that was the time they just throw me inside the vehicle. 3 to 2, no, it was 3. Sit behind. That's how they started punching me, giving me big blows. Before we reached at the NIA, some were slapping me behind. So that's how we went to reach the NIA. On arrival at the NIA, if you enter at the gate, at your right-hand side, that's where I meet Alaji Martin and his group, jubilating, drinking kana or sum-sum. Yes.
Mr. Witness, these Black Boys, or otherwise known as junglers, you mentioned yesterday, do you know what their function is?
Anyway, Musa Jami did tell me, because when I arrived, he said, Honorable, don't run. If you run, they might shoot you and kill you. Then I said to my mind, there was never a bill that came in the House of Parliament we approve that give special unit the license to kill. So how can they kill me? This is what I have in my mind. I was definitely having this in my mind. But then I say, no, I will not run. How can I run? I am on handcuffed and these people are surrounding me.
Do you know what this group were known for?
Yes, these people were the assassin team, and they were known for torturing. Yeah.
And it is correct that your torture in the car was just a prelude of what was to happen later on.
Exactly.
Kindly tell us what happened after you were interrogated by the panel. What happened next?
What happened next was that Baba Sako instructed them to take me back to mile 2.
And who took you back to mile 2, and what happened during the journey to mile 2?
That is the same black boys, the arresting team. And on our way going, that's also where they started beating me until we reached at mile 2.
What were they using to beat you?
They have this black plastic, yes, black plastic, is it pipe. Some of them have these daggers, ropes, and all kind of things. They were arms with all kind of things. So, but definitely, what they were beating me was with this black pipe, the hard one.
You mentioned Ablainjai when you were at the NIA premises. He was the close friend of yours who was brought out and bleeding and had been tortured, and he made false allegations against you, which you said was because he was actually forced to do so after being tortured. Did you go back with him on that day?
We went back in the same car to the NIA, back to the prison, sorry.
Sorry, did you say he went back with you?
Yes.
Did he go back with you
car,
in the same vehicle?
In the same car, yeah.
And what happened when you got to mile 2?
When we got to mile 2, each was thrown in a cell and locked up there.
And this was when he explained to you that he had been tortured prior to him being brought out at the interrogation room at NIA. Is that correct?
Yes. I did ask him, because I said, boy, why should you do this? Why should you say so? He said, if I don't say it, they will kill me.
Tell us what happened next after that.
Yes, this was on the second day, on the 29th of March, around 11 p.m. Again, this team of torturers came to collect me from mile 2 and asked me that I am wanted at the NIA again.
Is it the same team of black boys?
Yes, that is the same team of black boys comprised of Tumbul Tamba. This time Tumbul Tamba was part of them, was the head.
Who was Tumbul Tamba?
Tumbul Tamba was also a state guard officer attached with the state guard personnel at the president office.
And he was part of the black boys?
Yes.
At this point, did he appear, what position did he appear to have within the black boys?
No, Tumbul was the one supervising the torture when they were torturing us. He was the one supervising on that day.
So he was leading them on that day?
Yes.
Please proceed. Tell us how you got to the NIA and what happened when you got there.
Okay, when I arrived at the NIA, again, the panel told me that you need to write your statement. That was on the 29th of March. Yes, around 11 p.m. They said, write a statement, write all what you know about the coup. Yes, so I don't write anything. They said, then let me go with Lamin Cham, Sergeant Lamin Cham, to get my statement. I went with Sergeant Lamin Cham to a small room within that conference room. He was getting my statement, asking me my involvement in the coup plot. I said, nothing. I don't know nothing about it. Yes, then that's where he went again out and told the panel he is not complying. I was sitting there alone. After some times, Ismaila Jammeh came with a statement. He said I should sign the statement. I said, no, this is not my statement. I cannot sign it. He said, you have to sign it or I cut your hand. He was having his bayonet then. I refused to sign the statement. He just took the bayonet and stabbed me on my right hand at my elbow. He said, if you don't sign it, I will cut your hand. Yes.
And did you sign it?
The statement was never signed.
Did he go through with his threat to cut your hand with the bayonet?
Yes, that was the time they hand me over with the junglers, the black boys. They said, let me go downstairs. I went downstairs. I was handcuffed, made to kneel down on the concrete floor. My head was covered with a black plastic bag, and a very cool bucket of water was poured on my body all over. Then they started beating me. The beating went to an interval of about 30 minutes because they will beat and stop and start questioning again. So this is how things went there.
Can you tell us where you were taken to within the premises of the NIA? Please describe the exact location.
Yes, this was behind an old building near to Bombadinka. But within that area, you have flowers all over. And inside, you have a concrete floor, a round concrete floor. That's where they said, Natok True. It's a nickname, Natok True. Tell him to tell the truth. That is Natok True, they call the place. That's where they take me.
Thank you. I just want to take you a little bit back. When Sergeant Lamincham was taking your statement, you mentioned that he went back to the panel and told them that you were not being compliant. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. When you just testified, you did not inform us that the panel was around on that particular day or that you were taken before the panel. Can you please clarify that point? Were you taken there, or do you know whether the panel was present on that day at the NIA premises?
Yes, I was taken up at the panel upstairs. The panel were there throughout the investigation.
And can you tell us what your interactions was with the panel on that day?
Was not friendly.
Did they interrogate you again?
Yes, they did interrogate me. I refused to talk. That's the time they hand me over to the junglers downstairs.
Can you tell us whether...
those people...
My apologies, please proceed.
That's the time the junglers started dealing with me downstairs. They beat for a period of 30 minutes. They took me upstairs again, said, go and tell them what you know about this school. Otherwise, you will come back here again.
Can you just confirm who was present this time around? Was it the same group of people you mentioned the first night at the NIA, or was there any difference in the membership of the panel and those who were also on the long bench?
No, it was a different sister forces because I can recognize they are the police, the NIA, and personnel of the Gambia National Army. They were mixed up there.
What about the people that were there previously? Were they still there? Was Fode Barry still there? Was he leading the panel?
Yes, these all were NIA officers leading the panel, yeah.
What about Lang Tombong Tamba? Was he present?
Yes.
Momodu Haidara?
Was present, yeah.
Alaji Martin?
Was present.
Usman Sonko?
Was present.
Yes, so my question is whether the same people from the previous day were present on the second day. Can you confirm this to us?
For this first day, I saw them, but the second day, I saw only Tumbul Tamba. But the first day, when Alaji Martin was slapping me, they were both sitting there.
And you said that this panel, after you were tortured, that you were brought back to the panel and you were forced to say something, to make a confession, and you refused, and they took you back again downstairs for further beating. Is that correct?
Yes.
So it is correct that at all times, the panel in its entirety and individual members of the panel knew that you were actually being tortured by the black boys.
Oh, yes, obviously, yes, yes.
Please tell us, give us more details about how you were actually tortured, what was used, and who actually tortured you. You mentioned that Tumbul Tamba was actually leading the torturing, but did you recognize any individual members of the junglers who actually tortured you and what they did to you?
Yes, the torturers. My torturers were Tumbul Tamba, Captain Musa Jamme, Michael Sankoria, Malik Jata, Ismaila Jamme, and Bora Koli. These I can recognize.
At this point, who was the director of the NIA?
There was a power vacuum at the NIA by then because Daba Marena was the director of NIA and Daba was arrested. So now there was a big infighting between Harisambu, Momodu Haidara, and the other people. Each of them was trying to be recommended as director, coming to be director.
But you mentioned that Momodu Haidara was actually on the panel of interrogators. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
Was Harisambu there?
No, I don't see him.
Okay. And where was Daba Marena at this point? You mentioned that he was arrested. Do you know if he was detained, and if so, where?
At mile 2.
Do you know where he was detained at mile 2?
Daba was at the maximum security cell number 5. When you enter maximum security number 5, the first row, first second cell, he was there.
And that was where you were being detained, is that correct?
Exactly.
Did you have any interactions with him whilst you were being detained at the maximum security wing number 5?
Anyway, I think by then he was unconscious because I did talk to him, but he never listened. He never answered to me. He was just looking the ceiling upstairs. He don't even listen to me, look at me.
What condition did he appear to be in when you saw him?
Was also tortured seriously.
Can we go back to your torture? I had previously asked you just to give us further explanations about your actual torture and who did what to you and what they did to you.
Okay, as I said, I was escorted downstairs. When we arrived at the torturing chamber, they did say to me, kneel down on the concrete floor. I knelt down with handcuffs. Some of the soldiers brought this plastic bag, black one, put on my head, cover my head, somebody holding it, and I can remember a full bucket of water, very cold water, was poured on me, and then the beating start. When they beat for some times, I will hear the voice of Musa Jame telling them, hey, Alabula, Alabula, that is, hey, stop it, stop it. Then he said, Honorable, come, tell me, what do you know about this? Then I will not respond to him. And he will again tell them, come and get him.
And who was this Musa Jame?
Musa Jame was the PPO at President Office.
And he was the Musa Jame that you earlier mentioned in your testimony?
Yes, commonly known as Mali Mungu. Apart
from your own personal torture, did you witness any other torture at the NIA to other people? Did you witness other people being tortured?
Yes. I did witness the torturing of Omar Fall. I did witness the torturing of Mustafa Loh, the torturing of Aliou Loh, the torturing of Ustaz Usman Sy, the torturing of Lai Conte, the former KMC mayor, the torturing of, who else again was there? Yes, Amadi Sow also. I did witness that, yeah. I saw all of them being tortured there at the NIA.
You also mentioned other National Assembly members that had been arrested, detained at Mile 2, and who were also previously tortured when you saw them. Did you see them again at the NIA? People like Ramzi Diab, people like Mustafa Demba, and another member of parliament that you mentioned, 3 of them. Did you see them again?
Yes. Omar Baru Kamara also was seriously beaten. After just my beating, that was Omar next. Omar Baru Kamara. Then Ramzi Diab, I saw Tumbul Tamba instructing the boys to pour water on him. Then he will hold the hair of Ramzi Diab, put inside the barrel of water for some times, and remove the head. This I can tell you, I saw it at the NIA. Tumbul Tamba was doing this to Ramzi Diab. Then Sirif Diba also came after they tortured Per PJ Mendy, Captain Per PJ Mendy. Sirif Diba was the next guy, that is Sirif Mustafa Diba.
Can you please repeat what they did to Mustafa Diba?
They did beat him very seriously, slapping him. I saw they kicked the old man. He fell down. It was very sad, definitely. And then the beating start also.
What about Umar Ubaro?
Umar also was beaten, shouting on top of his voice, "Woy Alben Fala, I have done operation. Nambalo be muneleti." This is what he was saying.
Can you please tell us what that means in English?
That is, he was shouting on top of his voice, "You are going to kill me, you are going to kill me. I have just done operation. All my body is inserted with irons. Be careful." This is what he was saying, telling them.
You also mentioned other people, Omar Ba. Can you tell us what happened to Omar Ba?
Which Omar Ba?
Did you mention
Omar Fall, yes.
Yes.
I did saw Omar Fall, Ismaila Jammeh, he told Omar Fall, your leg, put it on top of this block. So Omar Fall put the leg on the block. He wanted to cut his leg. Secondly also, he just brought his dagger and hold the bat of Omar Fall Keita. He cut everything. This I can witness.
So just that we're clear, you mentioned Omar Fall and not Omar Ba. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's Omar Fall.
Omar Fall.
Yes.
Okay. Can you please repeat what happened to Omar Fall, please?
Omar Fall, Ismaila Jammeh was the one torturing him. Ismaila told him, "Let me have your legs." He put his leg on top of a block there, on a block. Then he wanted to cut the leg of Omar Fall. Omar just rose and removed his leg. Then he came again, hold his back, and cut it with his knife. Yes.
His back was cut with a knife?
Yes.
And what happened when that was done?
Yes, he was taken upstairs to the panel to go and explain what he have done during the coup plot.
What about Mustafa Low and Aliu Low? What happened to them?
They were all beaten. I found Mustafa Low lying on the conference center. He was beaten until he flat. He was lying on the conference center. By then he was already beaten.
And that is where the panel was. Panel members, were they present when this happened?
Exactly, yes, they were present.
What about Usman C?
Usman C also, they did beat him.
That's Ustaz Omar C.
Ustaz Usman C, yes.
Usman C. My apologies. Yeah,
yes.
Usman C.
Yes.
Lai Conte?
Lai also all beaten.
What about Amadi Sow?
Amadi Sow, the same thing. Everybody was beaten. The only guys that I saw was not beaten was, sorry, I must make this rectification. I saw the present speaker there, but I don't see her beaten. And the present lawyer, Antuman Gay, also, I meet him there. But I don't see him beaten.
Who was Antuman Gay?
He is also a lawyer in the Gambia.
And the present speaker, can you please give us the name, please?
That is Mariam Dentin Jack.
So both of these people were present at the NIA, but you did not see them being beaten?
No. But then I saw them at the conference room on interrogation, definitely.
Do you know if they had been detained at that point and where, if you do know?
No, I don't know. I don't definitely know. I just saw them at the conference center, sitting on a chair waiting.
And you can confirm that the torture of all the people that you've mentioned here today was done by the black boys? Is that correct?
Yes, I can confirm to that.
And they were being led on that occasion by Tumbul Tamba?
Yes, but then it's not only Tumbul Tamba. The torturers were groups. When this group come, they will torture and they go and bring another person. The other group also will come and torture you. There were many.
Yeah, can you just tell us who else you remember or recognize apart from Tumbul Tamba?
Malik Manga was part of them. Suleiman Baji. Suleiman Baji. Noah Baji. Sana Manjang. These people, and Pa Malik Jata, the brother of Babukar Jata.
Pa Malik Jata.
They were all part of it. Yes. Pa Malik Jata, yeah.
Do you know where Alaji Martin was at this point?
No, on the second day, I don't know where he was, definitely.
Okay. So after you were tortured and you saw all of these people tortured, what happened next?
What happened next? We were all bundled in the cars and brought back to Mile 2 again. And they came to collect other people also. That was a routine. The whole day, the whole day was a continued torturing of detainees.
And you were returned back to the maximum security wing number 5?
Yes.
And you said they collected other people and took them to the NIA, is that correct?
Yes, but that was around cell number 4, I think, where Tamsir Jase and Ali Job were.
Please repeat the names. Ali Job and who? Tamsir Jase.
And Tamsir Jase, yes. Okay. Ali Job was the former Accountant General. Tamsir Jase was the former Director General of Immigration.
And you can confirm that they were taken to the NIA, is that correct?
Yes, definitely, I can confirm to that.
And can you tell us how you know this?
Because when they called them, I had their name being called. The list was called. Officer Tal, where is the, Biden Tal was the officer. They asked for Officer Tal, where is the cell for Tamsir Jase and Ali Job and other people? They calling names.
And was Officer Tal a prison officer or a military officer?
Yes, he was the one at the main gate registering detainees going in and out of the prison.
Were you present when Tamsir Jase and Aliou Diop were brought back?
No, I was not present.
Do you know what happened to them after they went to the NIA?
Definitely, I would not know.
Okay. You've mentioned, all of you people who were actually arrested and detained for being involved in the coup attempt. What happened to Noor Cham? Do you know what happened to him? He was alleged to have been the ringleader, and there were reports that he had actually absconded, and they were looking for him. Do you know what happened to him eventually? Do you know if he was ever caught?
No, Noor Cham was at large. He was never seen. And during my asylum in Senegal, I did saw him once in Chess.
So he managed to escape?
Yes.
Kindly tell us what happened after you saw Aliou Diop and Tamsir Jase taken to NIA. What happened next at Mile 2?
Anyway, they were brought back, but I know the following day, the way I saw them, they were not working normal. So I have the belief that they were tortured also. Because the way how they were working, there was a problem.
Let's just seek some clarification, because you just told us that you actually hadn't seen them before.
That was the first day. That was the first day.
Okay, so when did you subsequently see them and assume they had been tortured?
The second day we were all taken together.
Very well. So tell us what happened after that second day when you had been tortured together with all these other people you mentioned. What happened next?
They brought us back to Mile 2, Central Prison.
And did you spend the day at Mile 2 on that day? Did you spend the night there?
Yes. Yes, we did spend the night there.
How long were you detained at Mile 2?
I was detained there for 1 year, 9 months.
And after you were tortured on this particular day, were you tortured on any other day subsequent to that day?
Yes, any day when they take somebody else and he happened to mention your name, they come and collect you and again confront you with the individual and torture you. That was how they do it.
Can you tell us, if you remember, on how many occasions they came to collect you from Mile 2?
I was tortured on 2 occasions.
You were tortured on 2 occasions?
Yes.
And is the first occasion you mentioned the occasion which you have just narrated to us in your testimony?
Yes.
Can we hear you clearly, Mr. Witness? Was that the first occasion you were tortured?
Yes, I said yes.
Okay. Can you tell us the other occasion that you've mentioned? What happened on that particular occasion?
No, the other occasion was about the statement I refused to sign. They collected me again, took me. Then they say, why should I not sign the statement? I say, it's not my statement. And again, the beating started. The beating started there. They said, I have to sign the statement. So definitely, the way I did it, I knew I was going to court and that this statement will be tendered. So I refused to put my normal signature. The signature in my ID card, I did another signature, forged signature. And during the trial, this is what saved me.
And can you tell us what the time period was between the first torture and your second torture?
It is always at late night, because the first one was 1:30 p.m. we were taken. The second one was 11. They collected us from Mile 2.
Yes, my question was not the time of the torture, but the period of time between your first torture and your second torture. How many days passed or how many weeks passed?
It was 1 day in between. It was 1 day in between, definitely.
Okay. So you were tortured the first day, and then the next day you were taken and tortured again?
Yes.
All Apart from the detainees that you mentioned at Mile 2 prisons, maximum security wing number 5, who were detained with you, whilst you were being detained there, did any other detainees subsequently join you?
Yes, on the 6th of April, we saw Ablai Kujabi was brought, for the body was brought, Baba Saho, Kemo Fatajo, no, Kemo Balajo, sorry, and God Seka. These people were brought.
And who were these people?
These people also were part of the panel of the NIA investigators. That's why I confronted Fode Barry. Then Fode said to me, look, you people are not not supposed to be here. According to my recommendation, what I did was, you are supposed to go home. Lai Conte is supposed to go home. Ablai Njai was supposed to be released, and Uncle Diab and Honorable MC Cham. All you people, I recommended to the president you to be released. But when I took my file there, the president underlined your name. He said, no, you are not going. Demba will not go. Ablai Njai will not go. And Hamadiso will not go. But the rest were released.
Are you saying that the same panel of investigators that were investigating you and interrogating you also ended up at Mile 2 at the maximum security wing number 5, just like you?
Yes, yes.
And you're saying, can you tell us what the reason was? What was the reason behind their arrest and subsequent detention?
The reason was this. For the body did told us, that when he put up recommendation that we should be removed, we should be released and be used as state witnesses, I think that does not go well with Musa Jammeh. Musa Jammeh went to the president and told him, you see, for the body and other people are sympathizing of these coup plotters. This is how Jammeh ordered their arrest.
And what happened when they joined you there at Mile 2 prisons? What happened next?
Yes, that was how we started collecting information from them. What happened during the interrogation? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? So some of them were confronted very seriously. As a result, some of them were moved to different cells because we cannot be with them at the same building. Then we were confronting them very seriously.
Do you know what subsequently happened to Daba Marena?
Oh yeah, Daba Marena was collected there at one night. Daba Marena, Lieutenant Ibulo, RSM Alpha Ba, and Lieutenant Aliu Sise. These people were collected there one night under the leadership of Tumbul Tamba towards the NIA headquarters. But since then, they were never come back. In the following morning, we heard that these people were being transported to Janjambure prison and they had an accident on their way.
And did you receive any other information subsequently about what happened to these people that you mentioned?
Yeah, the information was that these people were killed by the junglers. They were taken and killed. This was the information we received.
And you have already confirmed to us through your experience that Tumbul Tamba, who led them out from Mile 2, was one of the leaders of the junglers, the assassination team.
Yes, that's right, Council.
And subsequently they disappeared in his custody.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Please tell us what happened next at Mile 2. Did anything of significance happen whilst you were detained? Were you ever charged with any particular offense and taken to court?
Yes. After some times, I can say after 3 weeks, the police came to the prison with some intelligence agents, including Falli Jabang, who was then military intelligence officer at State House. I forget to mention, Falli Jabang also was part of the panel.
Thank you.
So they came to the prison and brought us outside. We were taken to the reception room, and as a result, we were charged. But first, I was not charged. I went back to my cell and waited. After 3 hours, they came, Lamin Cham and the others came and said, Musa Jame said they should charge me.
Can you give us the particulars of what you were charged with, what offense you were charged with?
I was charged for treason and conspiracy.
Can you please repeat the charges?
Treason, charge 1, conspiracy, charge 2.
Treason and conspiracy.
Yes.
Sorry, would that be conspiracy to treason?
Exactly, conspiracy to commit treason, yeah.
Okay, and were you charged with any other people?
Yes, we were all charged together, all those detainees inside there, apart from Lai Conte, Honorable MC Cham, Honorable Omar Baru Kamara, and Uncle Diab. These people were released. And Honorable, yes, this Diab, they were all released and went home.
Can you tell us how many of you were charged, and if possible, just repeat the names of those who were charged with you, if you can remember?
Yes, in the side of the army,
Can you write?
I can say Captain Bunja Dabo, Captain Yaya Y.N. Dabo, Captain Per P.J. Mendy, Captain Wasa Kamara, Second Lieutenant Farin Sanyang, Lance Corporal Sambaba, Corporal Babu Jangha, and Alaji Nying, Mot Aliuba, Second Lieutenant. These military officers were charged. In the civilian side, I myself was charged. Ali Job was charged. Omar Fall was charged. And yeah, we were the 4 civilian charged.
And do you have any record of or information of these charges and the fact that you actually went to court? Was it reported anywhere?
Say it again.
Was it reported in the media that you were taken to court and charged with these offenses?
Exactly. Was reported in the media, yes, and said all over the radio. Yeah.
Do you have a record of it? Do you have a copy of the newspaper that it was reported on?
Yes. A copy of the newspaper is there on Observer and The Point and Foria. They all publish it.
Do you have a particular paper that it was reported on that you had in your custody?
A particular paper?
Yes, particular newspaper.
No, the newspapers I have was that during the trial, at the end of the trial, when I was accused and discharged, and others were jailed. These are the records I have.
Okay. Have you provided this to the commission?
Yes, Madam Counsel, I have done that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Witness. Mr. Chairman, we would like to include in the record a copy of the Observer newspaper dated Friday, the 10th of August, 2007, showing the witness being charged and taken to court.
Request granted.
The exhibit number is 0054. Thank you. Kindly tell us what happened after you were charged and taken to court. Sorry, Mr. Witness. Please carry on and just tell us what happened after you were charged and taken to court.
After we are charged and taken to court, both civilian and military, we were all taken to the High Court. In the interim, we were given a judge, that is Justice Ajim. And we all know the record of Justice Ajim with Yaya Jammeh. They were so close friends. When we heard of that, our lawyers tell us that, then we said no, we protest, we say we are not going to be prosecuted by Justice Ajim. We prefer another judge. And we were taken back to prison, stay for some times, and they brought us again back. They said now what they're going to do, they will separate us with the military personnel. Military will go and face the General Court Martial, and we the civilian will be taken to the High Court. And we the civilian were given a Commonwealth Judge Court from Ghana.
Do you remember the name of the judge?
Yes, the name of the judge was Yebua.
Justice Yebua.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that she was a Commonwealth judge.
Exactly.
And how did the trial go? What was the outcome?
Yeah, the trial was very hectic. So many intermediations, so many irregularities happened during the trial. For 1 year, 9 months, we have been coming to court until the last day when when I was put in the witness box to testify, I said to the judge, this statement was not my statement. The statement was written by Ismaila Jammeh and forced me to sign it. So then the judge said, now what we're going to do, we are going to have trial within trial to look into how tangible the cautionary and voluntary statement were. He believed there was no rule of law followed. We were tortured and cautionary and voluntary statement taken from us.
And what happened after the trial within a trial? What was the determination?
Yes, trial within a trial, we all confessed that we were seriously tortured, maltreated. Yes, statements were not voluntarily obtained, and they decided that there was no independent witness. So all those things were said in the court. Then I said to the judge, the statement, this one was not written by myself. It was written by Musa Jammeh. And this signature is not my signature. Just look at my documents. The signature is in my document, and that of the statements are not the same. As a result, my lawyer Jobate, applied for a police handwriting signature expert. I was taken to the police headquarters. There is one handwriting expert police officer. Then when I arrived, he said, now he gave me a piece of paper. He said I should write as many as I can. The lazy frog jump over the dog, I don't know what and what. I should write 450 words. There he can determine whether this signature is mine. I did that. After 2 days, signatures was returned to the court. The police officer said the signature was not mine. So my signature was thrown away. It was not admitted. And my son also, I tender it as an evidence because during the beating, there was so many stains of blood in my shirt. I said to the judge, this was due to torture. I saw in my hand also where they stabbed me with a knife. And the judge, we went during the trial within trial, the judge also admitted it as an evidence of torture. So this is what saved me.
And at the end of the day, what happened to that statement that was challenged in the trial, within a trial? What happened to it?
It was thrown away. It was rejected by the judge.
And your alleged confession was also not relied upon by the court, is that correct?
Exactly.
What eventually happened to the charges that were preferred against you?
Yes.
What happened to the case eventually?
Yes, what happened to the case after the end of the trial? Yeah, a verdict was done. I was accused and discharged, and other people were convicted and sentenced accordingly. So during my acquittal and discharge, I also was rearrested again and taken to prison again. Lieutenant Omar Koli said they cannot leave me to go home until they give order from the big man, boss.
Okay. Can you tell us who this big man or boss was?
That is Yaya Jammeh should give order for me to be released or not.
And who said that to you?
That was 002 Koli, Lieutenant Omar Koli. No, 002 Koli, second warrant officer 002 Koli.
Was he a prison officer or part of the military?
No, he was part of the military, but the liaison officer between Mile 2 and State House.
So you were saying that after the trial and you were acquitted and discharged because you were found innocent, you were still taken back to Mile 2 instead of being released to go home.
Exactly. But can we go back a little bit, because during my stay in Mile 2 also I encountered a very serious sickness due to the torture I have encountered also.
Very well, Mr. Witness. You can do that.
I was admitted for a period of 6 months in prison because of the torture I went through. I was vomiting throughout the day. I vomited a full bucket of blood. Was taken to the hospital. The doctor refused to admit me, saying that I am a security detainee. I should not be admitted there. I should be admitted at the prison infirmary center. So the Cuban doctor told them he's in a very critical situation. If you take him back to the prison, he might die there. Leave him here for 72 hours, we observe him and see. But it was never accepted.
And when did these complications arise? During what period did these complications arise?
This was nearly before the end of our judgment. It was 3 months before judgment. That's what delayed our court case, because we were jointly charged, and I was admitted in hospital. I cannot go on court. So the judge said if I am absent, then he cannot prosecute the others. They have to wait. That's what delayed us there.
And after your torture at the NIA, what symptoms did you exhibit? What happened to you after that?
Yes, as we speak now, due to the torture I have experienced at the NIA, I am right now handicapped. All my kidneys are not working. They are not good. And I need to go on a kidney transplant. Yes.
Can you please just clarify that for us? Can you just give us further details about exactly what is wrong with your kidneys?
Yes, the kidneys are malfunctioning, and they are at a very bad stage now, according to doctors here, that the only solution is for me to get a new kidney, otherwise I can't make it. So this is how we are now.
Is there any connection between your kidneys, the state of your kidneys now, and the torture that you suffered at the hands of the NIA? And if
yes.
so, tell us what.
Yes, Counsel. I can fully remember during my torture, there was a kick Ismaila Jammeh gave me on my back. I definitely realized there is something happening, because automatically I feel dizzy and nervous. I don't know what happened. Then 2 days after, I get sick and started vomiting blood. Yes, so I realized that he have done something internally in my body.
And where were you eventually diagnosed?
This started in Senegal when I went to Senegal, but Senegal don't diagnose me properly. They just said, you know, refugees, you always do these kind of things just to get papers, that you are sick, you are that, you are this, all kind of words I have been said there. Maybe I was looking for papers to go to Europe. I said, no, I think I am sick. Definitely, I was not like this. I was a very active man. Yes, so if I tell you I am sick, I am sick. I need a radio and know what is happening in my body. But they say no. So automatically when I was resettled in the Netherlands in 2008, June, I went to the hospital and they started monitoring me. And that's where they have seen that my kidneys have been damaged, tampered with.
And you say that both kidneys
yeah, it's two of them. Two of them are affected, yeah.
And what is the likelihood of getting a kidney donor?
Yeah, hopefully I have get a donor. My brother, the same brother, the mother and father brother, is willing to give me one, and arrangements are on the way. I think very soon he will come over.
And right now, what is the state of your health?
Now I am seriously sick, very, very sick.
Can you tell us what you're going through?
Yes, I have to go to the hospital for dialysis. You know, your kidney, if they are not working, you go to the hospital, they draw blood from you. That's what you do. Otherwise, the kidneys, you know the responsibility of the kidney in the body. If they don't filter waste product, you cannot urinate, you cannot go to toilet, you cannot do anything. That is the purpose of the kidney. So this now is lacking. So I have to go to hospital. They do everything for me there.
And do you have any medical documents to prove this medical condition that you have mentioned?
Yes, I did send them to the investigating team.
We will follow
and
up.
And I have a copy of them here.
Very well, we'll follow up with that. Mr. Witness, let's just go back to after the trial. You mentioned that they failed to release you and they were waiting for instructions from the president, Yahya Jammeh, to do so. So were you taken back to Mile 2?
Yes, I was taken back to Mile 2. I spent Mile 2 5 days. Then the directress of Mile 2, then as Auntie Rose, she was the head of the prison wing at Joshua. She was transferred to Central Prison Mile 2 to head the prison. She was going around on a familiarization tour, meet me in my cell, and she said to me, what are you doing here? I said, I am released, but they have brought me back here. They said they have to get order from Oga for me to go home. She said to me, look, call your people and you pack your things, go home, because I cannot keep you here without a warrant or a court order. If they want that, let them take you to the NIA, detain you there, or take you to a police station and detain you, but not in the prison here. This is how she released me.
Please tell us who Oga is. You mentioned a particular Oga. Who is that?
That is Yahya Jammeh, they mean. Yahya Jammeh was Oga.
Okay, so you were eventually released from prison?
Exactly, I was released eventually. So I went in. So when I was released also, personnel of the NIA and State House, some personnel came to me. They said they wanted to take me to Yahya Jammeh for me to go and apologize to Yahya Jammeh, to tell him, anyway, this was just Satan. I am sorry. I will never do such things again. I said to them, but then I have not done nothing. Why should I apologize? They say, no, let's go. You do it. When you do it, he might reconsider you again for a position. I say, okay. Now, what we're going to do, I will go and contact my people. Then Monday, you people meet me at Talinding, at Cow Johnson. Latrikunda at Cow Johnson. I will wait you there. Then we go together to Kanilai. So inside the prison, Baba Job did tell me, Honorable, don't accept what they told you. Because why? These people will take you up to the bush. They burn the car, you die there, and they pronounce that you have accident on the way when going to Kanilai. Don't do it. I said, thank you very much, Honorable. I will do what he said. Then immediately when I was released, I went into hiding. Yes.
And where were you hiding? And did you remain in the Gambia after that?
Yes, I was hiding in my sister-in-law compound. My wife, her sister, I was hiding in their compound in Bitik Yasin. Yes, they were looking for me around the provinces. They thought that I will be going to the provinces because I am from the provinces. But I never go. I just went into hiding. After 5 days in hiding, I decided one Saturday to go to Senegal.
Please tell us who was looking for you and what happened when you went to Senegal.
That is these jungulars. They were looking for me, wanted me to go to Yaya Jammeh and apologize. This was their mission, they said. And I never agreed to that. This is why I ran away and went to Senegal to seek asylum.
Did you eventually get asylum in Senegal?
Yes. I did arrive in Senegal on the 14th of August with my sister-in-law, Jatubari. When we arrived, we went straight to the Red Cross Society in Senegal. They refer us to the Commissioner de Refugee in Robos. They say there you should go and file an asylum, not at the Red Cross. So we went to Robos, then we find them closed, and now I have to find a place where to sleep. Yes, then we decided to go back to Trrc Asir, where my sister also was, my sister-in-law was married. I decided to go to her and sleep there.
Can you tell us whether you eventually got refugee status and whether you were given asylum?
Yes, when I slept at my sister's-in-law compound the following day, she said to me, tomorrow you are going to the refugee center, but make sure that when going, don't go alone. Go with delegation so that it will be so important to them. I said, okay. So on our way going to the refugee center, as I passed by Ami Diouf Cole, by then Ami Diouf was in Senegal. He was working with the Media Foundation for West African Journalists. I also went with Demba Ali Jao, the then former Minister of Minister of Information. And I went with Dr. Siga Jan. She was then heading the ProPac and her husband. Yes, this is how we went there to the asylum center.
Please confirm whether you got the refugee status in the end and you actually were granted asylum.
Yes, at the end I was granted asylum in Senegal. I stayed there for some times. Then in 2008, when the Senegalese government was hosting the OIC, Musa Jammeh tried to sneak in and kidnap us. And it never happened to me, but it happened to Yaya Damfa. Then when the news reached us, we all rushed to the DIC office in Senegal. DIC means their NIA. We explained our experience with these people. DIC confirmed to the border police in Karang whether was there any officers who sneaked in Senegal last night. They said yes. It was Musa Jammeh and his team. But what they told them was they are the advance party for the president because the president was supposed to come and attend the OIC meeting in Senegal. So that being the case, they have to come in advance and make preparation for the president. This is what happened.
Can you just repeat the name you mentioned as being affected by these attempted kidnappings?
That is Yaya Damfa. Yaya Damfa was a journalist working with the Amnesty International, and they managed to locate Chief Ibrahim Amane when he was detained in Sarengai. Yaya Damfa was the one who leaked it to the people that he saw Chief Ibrahim Amane in Sarengai detained. So since that, the government don't find it very well with him.
So what happened with Yaya Damfa in particular? Just briefly, we are running out of time, unfortunately, but if you can just briefly tell us that, please.
Yes, what happened to Yaya Damfa was, then we all went to report to the UNHCR and tell them our ordeal with these people. From there, then they said, now, for you to stay here is not safe. What we're going to do, we are going to relocate you to a third country. So for me, I was brought to Netherlands with my family, and Yaya Damfa was taken to Sweden with his family.
My question was he kidnapped?
No, he was not kidnapped. When they attempted, he shouted. When he shouted, the whole area come out. Then these people boarded their car and went away.
And how did they attempt to kidnap him?
They came and were shouting his name. Yaya, Yaya, we have a person for you from the Gambia. You see?
And who was this? Who was shouting his name and who had come?
That was Musa Jame and his team, gang of kidnappers.
Finally, Mr. Witness, just tell me what impact. I mean, you've already, covered that area partly about the impact on your health and on your life, your experience, has had. But if you have anything to add on that, kindly tell us before we wind down the hearing. And I hand you over to the commissioners for questioning.
Thank you very much, Madam Counsel. As you may know, in my family, I was the breadwinner of the family, and it affected me both internal and external. And my wife also, as you may know, she was working to help me. And during my arrest, she also went into hiding in the bush. I don't know where she was. It also affected my life and my children's life. So it was definitely a terrible thing on me. Whenever I ask anybody about my wife's condition, they will say, we don't see her. So I was in a dilemma, and I have definitely suffered a lot, plus this sickness. But thank God, all of a sudden, after one time, then I heard the voice of my wife was calling me from the United Kingdom. By then she was there. I said, thank God. I thought that you have been killed also. But she said, no, I managed to escape. I went through C4 area to Casamance, Senegal, then I took a flight. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. I will now hand you over to the commissioners for any questions they may have. And you will also, depending on the chairman, be given an opportunity to give your final words. Mr. Chairman, may I hand over the witness to you for questioning? Thank you.
Thank you very much, my counsel, and thank you very much, Honorable Dem, for your testimony. Truly sorry on behalf of the Commission, the difficulties you had to endure in the hands of security agents of the Gambia. I have just one question, but before that, actually, wish you all the best in your endeavors to get kidney transplant. I hope everything goes well for you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Quick question. During your initial arrest and the detention, were there any efforts made in the House, in the National Assembly, to address your situation, your plight? Were there any efforts there that you know of?
No, Mr. Chairman, there was no effort made, no effort. In fact, they were so reluctant for me to communicate with them. Yes.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Carr. You have the floor, followed by Bishop Adiko. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two questions I want to ask. The first is, did your family know what happened to you? Because we've had testimony from previous witnesses who've told the commission that their families didn't know what happened to them when they were detained. Did your family know what happened to you, or when exactly you were detained?
No, Mr. Commissioner, no family knows about my whereabouts because I was on the communicado. You don't communicate with lawyer, you don't communicate with your family. So that was how things were.
Thank you. The second question is, since you were elected by your constituents, what eventually happened to your seat?
Anyway, I term myself still the bona fide member of the National Assembly in my constituency because since my arrest and detention, I have never been expelled from the party. I've never been, there was no by-election conducted in my constituency. So I don't have anything, no papers to indicate that I have been fired or expelled from the party. So I don't know how things went, but then this is where we are now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Bishop Odiko, you have the floor, followed by Commissioner Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Demba, since the torture had seriously affected your health, how are you doing for survival in the Netherlands?
Thank you very much, Commissioner Bishop. Anyway, as you may know, in the West, when you were working and you fall sick, still now you are paid because you get it during your working period. So that means I am still paid. Yeah, that's how I survive.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones, followed by Commissioner Bojang.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable Dem, I have a question. It's more of a clarification regarding the establishment or the creation of the junglers. There was a bit of a sound issue, so I couldn't hear you properly. But could you clarify, did you say that the National Assembly approved and gave license to the junglers to kill?
Yes, thank you very much, Commissioner Jones. No. What I was saying, this was the time when Musa Jammeh told me, don't run. If you run, they will kill you because these people are launching to kill. I said in my mind, but then there was no bill came to the assembly that I'm aware of, which a particular section of the army have been launching to kill. This was in my mind. This is what I was anticipating throughout. How can they kill? How can they be launching to kill?
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you. Commissioner Bojang, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Dem, you said you were hiding at your sister's compound at Bundu. How did you manage to escape from Dakar, Senegal?
Yes, very good question. My sister hired a taxi for me. Yes, then I was lying inside the taxi, not allowing nobody to see me. Then my sister was in front. Then everybody see her will assume that she hired a taxi, but then I was lying behind. This is how we managed to go out of the Gambia.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kinte, you have the floor.
Honorable, I want some clarification here. You were saying both times that you were taken to NIA, it was at night. But when you're mentioning the time, you say 11 p.m., 1:30 p.m. Did you mean 1:30 a.m.?
Yes, I suppose that should be a.m., 1:30 a.m. Yeah, that was a mistake. Thank you very much, Commissioner Kinte.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dem. If you have any final remarks to make, please proceed now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the floor. I want to acknowledge the good work this Honorable Commission is doing. and your team of experts, like the councillors. Esa is doing a very good job. Horeja, Mariama, and all the others. Definitely, you are doing a very good job. And our hope are on you. I want to congratulate you for taking this responsibility. And I want to assure you that our support, we will give you our 100% support. And we will make sure that anything implemented or recommended by this commission will be implemented to the latter. We will definitely make sure that we make a follow-up about the recommendation that you are going to give into the government. Because a type of caliber like you people, I don't think that you will make any recommendation that will have effect on the people of the Gambia, especially Dr. Lamin Sise. I also want to extend my condolence to the demise of your colleague, Kofi Annan, but still now, we have our African Kofi Annan, that is you yourself. The experience you have and the work you have done for mankind, definitely we appreciate it. That is the reason why today we are enjoying this human right we have here over Western Europe. And to the investigators, I want to thank them, particularly Alaji. They have done definitely a marvelous job, and they are working in a very critical condition. So this all is patriotism. It's all towards having love for your country. So that being the case, I want to congratulate you so much. But allow me, Mr. Chairman, to thank also my wonderful wife. I have here a wonderful wife. During the struggle, we definitely experienced a lot of difficulties. And in the interim, many gallant soldiers have fallen down. And may God accept their and grant them highest Janatul Firdausi. Any day you remember, there is a demonstration we organize. My wife will sit in the kitchen 24 hours cooking for the guests. And also Nafinjai, my sister. So these people, I cannot go without congratulating them. I want to congratulate also the Gambian journalists for working in a very difficult condition. Even though it was difficult, people were not coming of volunteer information, but then they will try and all time feed us information. In the diaspora here, I want to congratulate my foot soldiers. These foot soldiers definitely enable me to do my work, to do the struggle I was doing with Yaya Jammeh here very well. Anytime we apply a permit to conduct a demonstration or submit evidence at the International Criminal Court, we were welcomed and allowed. Yeah, in the absence of these people, definitely it would not have been possible. So we want to thank the entire legal team at the ICC and our lawyers, plus our foot soldiers here who were behind me. I must mention their name, Mr. Chairman. Allow me, please, just 1 minute to mention their name. These were Mr. Silaba Samate, myself, Lamin Saddam Sanyang, Lamin Jaite, Abdoulaye Dabo, Basir Ndour, Mutar Jallo, and Lamin Baro, import and export. This make our struggle here very easy for us. Any support we need, definitely they will accord it to us. And also not forgetting Alaji Kijera, they all contributed towards this struggle. So that being the case, I want to thank you so much. And also thanking our able journalists here in the diaspora. I must mention Panderimbai. He also definitely dedicated his whole life towards the struggle. Panderimbai also is a patriotic citizen. Thanking also the Fatu Network Radio, the Gainakos, the Mafantas, and the Kebaros. These are all patriotic journalists who contribute immensely towards the struggle. Without these people, it would have been difficult for us. And not forgetting my sister also, Ndeta Fasose, we were together in Senegal and she went to Mali. She also contributed immensely, definitely, towards the struggle. And Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I want to take a leave of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, Honorable Dem. And thank you also for the kind words addressed to me personally. We owe you an apology also for the medical condition that you're in, to have a very late start, making you sit for hours and hours waiting for us to solve this technical problem that we have here. But we thank you enormously for your kind and very wise concluding words, and wish you all the best. Council, we will take a 30-minute break and come back. Is the next witness ready? Or
Yes,
where are we?
Mr. Chair, the next witness is ready. The next witness is ready and waiting.
Right. So can we take a 30-minute break? Is that okay?
That is perfectly fine by us.
Splendid. Thank you very much. Let's take it. Meeting is adjourned.
Allow me, please.